What's this?
We have a mission. Prep the chopper.
Ready to lift off in 15, sir. What's the profile?
Full tactical complement. And we're going to need a tech squad for assembly. I'll brief them on the way.
Copy that. Good hunting, sir.
Paul, we better have our fateful showdown. You wuss. Alright, here's his computer, right? Oh shit.
My office alarm went off. Is that you skulking around, Jack?
Fuck you. I'm done playing games. I'm here for what you stole.
Yes, of course.
The CFR. If you understood just how much depended on that, you'd leave it alone. But I know you don't care.
You're right. I don't. And it looks like you're not here to stop me.
Yes. Yes, everything will play out as it has to play out. I'll see you very soon, Jack.
I don't want this phone anymore.
I'm done dancing your tune, you crazy bastard.
Oh, Billy. Alright, so should we look at this again? Probably should, right? From Paul Serene, find Martin and kill him. To Clarice Ogawa. Clarice, whoops. I want you to figure out where the fuck Martin Hatch is and kill him. I hunt him down myself, but I don't have the time for it. I need to be in that chopper in a few minutes, so make no mistake. He needs to die. There can be no doubt, don't take any chances. Cut off his fucking head. I sent a full security team after him, and now they're all dead. How the hell does Martin do that? Who's helping him? Or did he do it himself? What is he? At least the lifeboat's running. Make sure it stays that way, Clarice. That's what this is all about, and if it was for nothing, there'll be hell to pay. And look after Sophia. I'm trusting you to not betray me. You're not like all these gutless weasels. I see the looks they give me. Don't think I don't. I'm starting to see very clearly now that I've been too trusting for years now. I mean it, Clarice. Find that son of a bitch and kill him. Keep lifeboat running. Take care of Sophia. Don't let me down. I'm not going to take another betrayal well, and even though Martin destroyed my treatments, I've got enough time left to set things straight if I have to. Count on it. Just do it. Oh, Littlefinger, you're ruling through fear, like an iron fist. It's not the way to do things. Whoa.
Between stutters. The countermeasure was Paul's prize. Everything he built was based on Will's device. His plan depended on it. You better believe I look forward to taking it from him. What happened to you? Looks like you ran into that creepy thing.
That creepy thing. Alright. Let's see. What is this? Oh, this is his treatment thing, isn't it?
Only one of Serene's treatments survived the explosion. His time was running out.
So was everybody else's.
Okay. Down yonder is the objective. That means I'm staying up here. We've got to wrap back around here and find that damn upgrade point. From Sophia Amaral to Paul Serene, Time Machine Core. Paul, don't worry about it, we're on schedule. Your Time Machine Core from the university has been transported to the HQ and is currently being installed into the new Time Machine frame we built for it. You'll have direct access to it from the CFR chamber as requested. And no, before you ask, you can't actually access the CFR chamber from the Time Machine. That elevator can only be activated from within the chamber, so no one working on the machine can get to the CFR. I thought you'd appreciate that layer of added security. I know how important it is to keep the CFR safe. Anyway, I know you don't actually intend to use the time machine, but you should you ever need it. All we need to do is deploy the corridor. It's actually all hooked up now, but we're still running some final diagnostics. The tech should be ready with it before the gala's over. Okay. He wrote to her, Sophia, please update me on our progress with the time machine core relocation. Where are we with this? She wrote, Paul, yes, of course, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to add to your burden, and I know that these are hard decisions. You can count on us to proceed as planned. I know you're exceptionally busy now that the time is almost upon us, but I was hoping you'd have time for dinner? Wait. Reading these out of order sucks. He didn't even answer the question about dinner. Wow. He wrote, Sophia, I understand why you would feel that way, but this isn't something I take lightly. It's my experience that time travel only complicates things, and while my own trip through time has given us great opportunities, it's also set me on this path. I want to control it, not use it. That said, I want to have the machine ready to use for emergencies. My foreknowledge of future events will end very soon, and it might prove to be useful to have the option of obtaining more detailed information from the future. Obviously, given that the furthest you could go back is the machine deactivation at the university, visiting the past seems fairly useless. Also, ensure that the machine is heavily guarded at all times. Nobody is allowed to operate the machine besides myself, and I want the corridor to remain undeployed unless I give specific orders to the contrary. As for the Joyce brothers, I intend to give William the option of joining us if possible, but I know him. He's a very stubborn and unstable man, and I don't know if we could ever trust him. I don't need to remind you that he built, in that ridiculous little workshop with very limited resources, a device that broke the local physics at ground zero and caused my Chronon syndrome. I don't intend to give him a chance to show us what else he could do if he decides that we're a target. That, along with the visions I have seen, there are certain sentimental reasons that make me wish I could let William live, but I doubt that he makes it possible for us. As for Jack, I'm not too worried about him. It took me a long time to master my abilities, so Jack shouldn't be a major problem unless he manages to use stutters to escape the area. Luckily, stutters should be very rare in these early stages of the fracture. Still, I've come too far to take any chances. I prefer to take him alive, but nothing can be allowed to put our plan at risk. I'm sorry to have to involve you in something like this. I know it's not what you signed up for, and as I said, I don't expect you to be personally involved with that part of the operation in any way. I'm not particularly happy about this part myself, and I wish I had better options. But our circumstances are as they are, and I've come too far to falter now. I hope you understand. And then she wrote, Paul, we have now finalized the plans for acquiring and transporting the Time Machine core from the university lab. Your instructions are quite clear. We won't actually move in until your younger self has entered the machine, and then the men will try to take the Joyces alive with the understanding that Jack Joyce in particular can be a threat, and neither can be allowed to escape under any circumstances. I'm still quite uncomfortable with all this, Paul. I understand your reasoning, and I know the stakes are high, but I don't want to see anybody hurt. It's antithetical to my role as a scientist, and I wish you'd reconsider. Surely there's a better way to resolve this. Moral implications aside, the loss of Dr. Joyce's expertise alone would be a great blow. If everything goes smoothly and quietly, we will transport the core directly to the Monarch Tower via ground route. If there's a commotion and it seems there's any risk of detection, we will instead airlift the core to our dry docks operation and then move it discreetly from there to the HQ. The construction of the new time machine frame at the top of the Monarch Tower has been finished since last year. Once we have received the core, it will be installed into the time machine per your orders. I know you don't intend to use it, but even with the limitations the nature of time travel imposes on us, I have to say it seems like a great waste to not take advantage of such a resource, both from a strategic and a scientific point of view. Alright. I wish I had read those in order. Sorry guys, the one time I forget to look is the time it actually mattered.
Paul spent a long time running Monarch in secret. It probably didn't help with that whole disconnected from reality thing.
Okay, reflections on the end. I wish my memories about the end of time were clearer, but it was anything but a clear time in my life. And the world was such a jumble, a frozen mess of different timelines crashing together. I was running for my life the whole time, trying to avoid the shifters. Not an ideal state of mind for gathering intel. And it didn't help that she kept chasing me, trying to kill me. Beth Wilder, one of my own people. It was her all along. Even then, trapped in the end of time, as little as I understood about what was going on, I could tell she wasn't like me, that she didn't have the powers I did. I knew she had some kind of technology that kept her going in that suspended hell. Of course, I had no idea it was a device I would eventually have my people develop. I suppose I should appreciate the irony that it was her Chronon harness, my own Chronon harness, that it gave me the idea for the lifeboat protocol. The idea that our technology could let humanity survive the end of time. I suppose I have to thank her for that, and she paid for her sins in the end, but she left her mark on me. I know the time to pay for mine is approaching quickly, but not just yet. Back then, when Wilder and I played our game of cat and mouse at the end of time, if I'd had an ounce of the control over my powers that I do now, things would have turned out very differently between the two of us. She was strong and had the training, and I was young and weak and scared. Even so, my abilities gave me an edge. I was lucky she didn't have the full striker gear. She was the one with the upper hand. I didn't learn to properly control my abilities until much later. In those days, they were unpredictable and operated on instinct. Control didn't come easy. I can't help but be aware that this doesn't seem to be the case for Jack. His mastery is growing by leaps and bounds. Is it just because that's the way he's always been? Fast on his feet, bold and adaptive? Or is the fracture affecting him too? I thought we could contain him. It's cost us dearly. It's not a mistake I will make again. Nah, son, it's because I'm gangster. You don't even know. Okay. Can I have my point? Where is it? Stop screwing with me. No. What's this? Wait, that was the point right there? I couldn't even see it. Whatever. I got it. I'm happy. Everything is good in the world. Alright, let's spend it. Hit the wrong button. We've got extra activation for time dodge, extra activation for time stop, or the functional range of time vision increases. That's not something I've ever really cared about. I think, if anything, knowing that I can use the time dodge against the juggernauts in conjunction with the focus power, this is probably going to be the most useful in case I have to fight those guys again. So that's what we're going to go with. And I have to figure that's probably going to be the last upgrade we're going to be able to buy unless there's 6 more points. There might be. I know I've missed like 4, maybe 5. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, from Sophia Amaral to Paul Serene, Quantum Ripple Research Unit. Let's make sure. Yep. Now that I look, it's all just one big email. Awesome. Paul, Martin, I know you've both been arguing that the Quantum Ripple Causality Research Subdivision has great potential and we should keep it funded. I must once again implore you to reconsider. I'll be the first one to admit that the technology is impressive. The fact that Doctors Morphin and Rangers, are you kidding me? Doctors Morphin and Rangers. In case anybody out there doesn't get that, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the reference there. That's awesome. It makes me love this game twice as much as I did. The fact that Doctors Morphin and Rangers can actually track the consequences rippling out from minor shifts within the Mayer Joyce field is incredible, and the level of informational detail they managed to obtain is amazing. But here's the thing, they've been at this for 2 years now, and they have not produced a single useful result. Yes, we can trace actual events from their small inception point to the actual consequences, very much in keeping with the basic chaos theory concept of the butterfly flapping its wings, but, well, so what? Every single thing that happens in this universe is the result of such a chain of events. Being able to see the chain offers no real insight to anything due to the very randomness of the process. Furthermore, it's very misleading. It's utterly misleading. You could say that some tiny event or tiny decision in my life yesterday led me to writing this email, and that's technically true, but so did some tiny event or tiny decision in my life 15 years ago. It's all a chain. The event yesterday didn't take place in a vacuum, it didn't come out of nowhere, so what's the point? We have no control over it, we don't get to direct it, and we get no useful information out of it. Really? Also, have you actually seen the reports they generate? From a technological point of view, the way they manage to automate their analysis of the fluctuation signatures within the Mayer Joyce field is impressive, but again, it's all meaningless babble with no practical applications. Their personal remarks on the reports are even worse. With all due respect to Ron and Terry and their indisputable technical expertise, I don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they do either. It's like they're coming up with stuff at random. The above outlines my concerns as to the futility of the entire process, and I suspect that may not be enough to sway you, but I have one final point, which I think you should consider very, very carefully. The entire program is an unforgivable waste of Monarch resources. I don't mean money, although the entire Quantum Ripple Causality Research Subdivision is costing us millions and millions of dollars, but that doesn't really matter because I know we can afford that. However, there's a more vital resource they're consuming. Each time they fire up their rig and delve into the Mayer Joyce field, they eat up a huge amount of chronon particles. Those are a finite resource, and as you know, we are projecting that the ground zero's yield will rapidly diminish as the fracture takes hold, which will happen very soon. You may not understand what the real impact of this is, so let me put it to you in practical terms. Every single time they detect and analyze a quantum ripple, it costs us a week of potential lifeboat runtime, minimum. Given Monarch's primary purpose and the total lack of useful results, I believe that's a luxury we cannot afford. I recommend shutting them down immediately, or at the latest during our next reorg. We can reallocate the resources to something useful and put Ron and Terry's expertise into great use designing the lifeboat. I'm sure we wouldn't regret putting them to work on that, given their track record of working with Chronon Tech. So that was some really interesting talk right there. I'm not sure how they can argue that being able to figure that stuff out wouldn't have any practical application that would let you predict the fucking future if you got really good at it. Which I know Paul could already see it, but that's just him. I'm talking about like everybody else.
Paul told me that he tried to change things. It failed. What he'd seen, it broke him. And I'd seen Beth go down the same path, but Paul, it consumed him.
Yeah, I guess people aren't really meant to know the future. Results in a lot of bad things. Look at all this shit.
17 years, he lived through twice. All of it mapped out, from memory.
He knew the market trends before they occurred. He had the tools to make a fortune, and he did.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Wouldn't that, like, catch some eyes, though? Wouldn't some people be like, how the fuck did this guy know all this stuff? It would become pretty obvious after a while, I would think. Alright, where are we at? We're good. We got everything up to here. We've got all the chronon sources, which is the main thing. All right, let's do this. Come on, Mr. Shifter. I know you're just waiting to jump out and jump me.
Dr. Amaral was the one thing keeping Paul alive, but reading through their exchanges, there was something more than professional going on.
That's not my place to comment on.
Okay. Sophia's personal notes. I find myself at a loss. We knew that the fracture would arrive. It was clear very quickly that the process was occurring much faster than Paul's projections, his experiences, had led us to believe. That was alarming in itself, but there's another concern. With the fracture, Paul's condition seems to be accelerating rapidly. I don't know what to do about either one of these issues. I haven't had a chance to examine Paul properly, and of course he won't consent to any real tests at this point. He won't take the time, not with the situation being as critical as it is. He has to prepare for the gala, to take care of every little stupid thing Martin trots out for him. He won't think of himself at all, and I'm afraid that'll cost us dearly. So I don't know, I'm just speculating, but I believe this acceleration is a reaction to the stutters in time. In zero state, his wave function is further disrupted by the excessive chronon energies within his body. Before the university incident, before the fracture, the condition was progressive, but controllable. The lack of stutters helped keep it in check. Now its progress is rampant, and I worry that it may reach a critical point soon. We always knew that was a possibility, but all of our projections assumed we would have years, time enough to come up with a cure, or a way to stop its progress. Which means there's a very real chance that in the near future, Paul's condition overtakes him. And if he does become a shifter, I don't know what to do about it. We haven't been able to help Dr. Kim. I don't know what we could do for Paul. I don't know what to do. The treatments are still working, but they take a toll on him, and their effect is greatly diminished. I'm concerned we may hit a point where he's forced to use them so often that the treatment becomes worse than the condition itself. And yet, I don't see any other options. He will not rest. He insists on doing so much. I know he chafes under his dependence on the treatments. He sees it as a weakness. I'm afraid I may lose him. I'm afraid he was never worth having in the first place.
Paul was a powerful man, the leader of an empire. But behind the veil, he was a dying man. The signs were clear.
Right. So, the idea that Hatch is a shifter who can control his abilities, I wonder if he's actually like a time traveler from some like really distant past. He said he found a natural time machine.
Supposed to be wearing that. Who the fuck are you?
Joss Wheeler. I'm tech support. No, seriously, just put the gun down, man. I'm just here to make sure the chamber's working right, okay? Just routine.
Your security clearance doesn't match the outfit, buddy. Do you think I'm stupid?
I mean, shit, you throw out a line like that, what am I supposed to say?
Shut your face. We're gonna wait for someone in charge to get here, see what they say about this.
Come on, man.
I said, shut the fuck up.
Well, I guess we should save him. He is kind of helping us out right now. Make sure I get my ammo. Alright, let's do this. Oh, by the way, I like that he almost said his name was Joss Whedon, and he changed it to Wheeler at the last minute. Because he's a nerd. And nerds love Joss Whedon. Let's do this.
Joyce! Help!
God damn it! Whoa.
Joyce, hold him back!
Really? I left him a shotgun blast.
Thank God. Joyce, thank God. Shit, that could have been real bad.
You're Charlie.
Yeah, let me get this door open.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I'm gonna read more shit. There's a lot of stuff to read in this part, guys.
They'd stockpiled all the chronon particles from Ground Zero to keep the lifeboat running.
Enough to hopefully last until a proper solution was discovered.
Okay, 2 lifeboat maintenance from Sophia. Everyone, please be advised that we are now at a point where lifeboat activation may occur. Accordingly, I have ensured that preparations are underway for activation. As a part of that, what chronon particle stores still remain at the Ground Zero harvesting operation are being moved to the headquarters and placed into the Master Chronon Particle Repository, ready to be placed under the CFR's control. Please be aware that what we have managed to accumulate until this point is very likely to be all the chronon particles we ever have access to. Due to the fracture's effects on the Mayer Joyce field, the Ground Zero anomaly is showing definite signs of weakening. As a result, the chronon particle yield decreases drastically and will soon drop to baseline. While we will obviously continue more traditional chronon particle harvesting operations in order to maximize our stockpile, We all need to recognize that sourcing them outside of the ground zero conditions is extremely inefficient. Or in plain terms, unless we find another source of chronon particles, and I don't believe we will, what we have now is all we will ever have. Please be aware that all use of chronon technology eats into our limited resources, and while we of course recognize that we need to have our strikers and other soldiers operate in stutters, each operation undertaken will eat away at our stockpile, and in very real terms cost us days of lifeboat runtime. Accordingly, we have to plan all use of this technology closely and choose our battles carefully. That said, we should also realize the ongoing situation with Jack Joyce constitutes an emergency and will most likely require unconventional chronon particle investments. Just the same, we should be aware of the cost. I expect to see projected chronon particle consumption rates for the foreseeable future and simulations of how long our stockpiles will last, adjusted for all the scenarios we've discussed. See our last meeting minutes in our next Monday meeting. Yeah, she's really worried about these particles. I feel like there's like a couple too many emails about that kind of stuff in this part. Like, I got it the first time. I don't need 3 emails about it. But as ever, we will read everything, because that's what I do.
The lifeboat revolved around the countermeasure. He knew Will would try to take it back. That's why he was killed. He knew I'd try to do the same eventually.
Clearly, he was right.
Okay, from Lauren McStevenson, read me right now CFR procedures to lifeboat maintenance. People, because there seems to be a certain lack of clarity about when it's appropriate for someone to enter the CFR chamber and mess with the chronon field regulator, and because I just had to fire Kevin Janeway because he did that exact thing, let me remind you of the approved CFR procedure. You do not touch the CFR. Period. I may touch the CFR because I'm the lead technician in charge of it. Dr. Sophia Amaral may touch the CFR because she's our head of research and she knows what she's doing. Mr. Paul Serene may touch the CFR because he's Paul fucking Serene and it's his CFR. Nobody else touches the CFR. On occasion, some enormously lucky individuals who have been personally trained by me and are proven to be very, very dependable and incredibly good at their jobs, who don't have a track record of trying to enter the CFR chamber like paint-huffing imbeciles because they just wanted to take a closer look at it, and who have remembered to bribe the lead technician in charge of the CFR with Tom Waits tickets, may be given written instructions to perform specific procedures on the CFR. That will be a great honor and a sign of significant degree of trust, and those people should be accorded all professional respect and an appropriate degree of brown-nosing and or passive-aggressive displays of envy by their peers. Or to put it another way, you do not touch the CFR unless you want to join Kevin in the how to stop being an arrogant dumb shit who jeopardized the only hope of a future for the entire human race because his mansplaining ass thought what the CFR really needed was a random dude who knew better. Self-improvement course down at the unemployment office, which I'm sure is where we all believe he was escorted to by those armed men. There are no exceptions to this. The entire lifeboat protocol depends on the CFR being present, properly connected, and functioning normally. You do not want to jeopardize this. This is bigger than any of us, and we are not here to fuck around. Lauren McStevenson. She mad. Alright. Anything else in here? I know there's like at least one more document somewhere. Let me grab my ammo. I can't grab the ammo because I can't go back out. That really bothers me, the way this game locks you out of like the previous area. I'm sure there's a good design reason for it, but man, I just hate it. Okay, let's go in here.
There you go, Joyce. You're just hoping you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, me too.
I think I do. Personal notes on the CFR.
CFR. Countermeasure. Whatever it's called. Help yourself, Joyce.
I will, after I get finished reading this fucking ridiculously long document. Alright, personal notes on the CFR. Dr. Henry Kim. This thing feels like a conundrum wrapped in a puzzle. It's an incredible piece of technology, and I feel like we're only scratching the surface of what it can do, and we have already learned so much. I thought I had a good understanding of the intricacies of chronon particles and their practical applications before. Now I realize that I've still got a great deal to learn. The chronon field regulator, as I decided to call it, is a little miracle. How such a small device can do so much is beyond me. I know it taps into the Meyer-Joyce field, but I don't know how. My experiments just show it.
Can we get the hell out of here?
Shut up. My experiments just show it can do it. It can also manipulate the field. I wish I knew how. Still, the mechanics of its operation give me ideas. New avenues of thought I've been trying to find for such a long time. The task that I've been set by Mr. Serene has, frankly, stumped me for years. Knowing that what we observe as the passage of time is just the result of chronon particles being constantly generated within the Meyer-Joyce field is a simple fact that I've been aware of for a long time. Being able to manipulate those particles in a meaningful way, well, that's another question. The mechanics of the situation are clear, almost frustratingly so. In a zero-state environment, there are no chronon particles, and thus time is frozen. The idea of artificially flooding an area with chronon particles to enable the passage of time is the obvious solution. But actually finding a way of doing that, that's something else. Not only are chronon particles incredibly difficult to source, so obtaining enough to actually stutterproof an area for any time longer than a fraction of a second has always seemed impossible. Perhaps even more importantly, the mechanism of manipulating... sorry guys, a lot of reading, I'm starting to trip over my words. Perhaps even more importantly, the mechanism of manipulating the particles in a way that would actually allow me to define a certain volume of space as stutterproofed has constantly eluded me. Well, Ground Zero has solved the former problem for us. We're almost up and running, and very soon we will have the ability to harvest chronon particles at useful rates. We'll be able to build a truly formidable stockpile of them in the years to come. As for the latter problem, manipulating the chronon particles, that seems to be something the CFR does with ease. Its ability to tap into the Monarch Joyce field and effect changes in its topology is exactly what I need. Unfortunately, I don't know how it does it. I don't have a clue, and I don't know how to effectively control these effects, but my research into the practical effects of its operation has given me ideas for a different kind of chronon technology that works on a somewhat similar principle, except instead of tapping into the Monarch Joyce field, it generates a similar localized field of its own, an artificial chronon particle field, and within that field we can manipulate chronon particles at will. This means that we should be able to create stutterproofing technology, allowing us to shield a certain area from the effects of zero state, and I believe I will be able to miniaturize the technology to allow for personalized devices within the same effect. Almost like an environmental suit of sorts, with a harness the user would wear to create a chronon field around the body. There are still many challenges here, one of which is that any significant volume of stutterproof space will incur an unacceptably high drain on chronon particles, which are a decidedly limited resource. Obviously, with the lifeboat protocol requiring a large stutterproofed area that we can maintain for years, quite possibly decades, this is a critical issue we have to solve, and Mr. Serene has made that quite clear to me. Frankly, even with Mr. Hatch backing me, the thought of disappointing Serene over this makes me quite anxious. I understand his concerns, and they are of course entirely founded, but the man's intensity is unnerving. In any case, I'm hopeful that I will figure out this problem soon. I'm hoping to be able to use the CFR itself to regulate the flow of chronon particles. Given its nature, I suspect it might be eminently suitable for such a role in the lifeboat project and cut down our chronon consumption rate by a great margin. My control over the CFR is limited, but this seems to be a very basic functionality for it, so I'm optimistic that I can do it. I'm still looking into it, one thing at a time. We've already made great progress, and I will say that Mr. Serene's been quite complimentary with these successes, so I think he'll give us the time we need. Well, it's not like he has a lot of choice in the matter. I'll be honest, the CFR is becoming a bit of an obsession for me. I wish I could sit down and have that conversation and just ask those questions. How did he build it? What's it actually for? But I've been denied that opportunity. A part of me wants to open the CFR up and get to the bottom of it, but the potential consequences terrify me. We've already seen what it can do if unleashed. Even worse, there's the possibility that I couldn't put it back together, and just the idea of making a mistake like that is a positively bowel-liquefying thought. Having to explain that to Mr. Serene? No, thank you. So, as it is, I've only dared to open up a bit of the casing to get a rough idea of some of the engineering inside. It's amazing work, and it has certainly been a lesson in humility for me. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm a very fast learner, and this has to be the most important work anyone has ever engaged in the history of humanity. If we succeed in our mission, the world will not soon forget the name of Dr. Henry Kim. Sounds like you should be praising the dude who actually built it, who was my fucking brother. I like how Littlefinger just kind of murdered him. Like, he wouldn't think he would actually need him at some point. Charlie's badge just hanging out there. Don't know how that's an intel object, but okay. What might you be?
Something had gone down in that chamber before I arrived. Whatever it was bloody. I'd seen the dead guy before.
Liam Burke.
What the hell happened to him?
He met his match. Let's move on.
Damn, they just left his body laying there? It's messed up. I guess, they didn't really have time to clean up. Big old bloodstain on the floor. Alright, so where are we at with this? That's everything in Act 5, Part 1. Thank God. I was getting tired of reading. Here we go, guys. Let's grab the CFR.
It took 11 years for Will to build the countermeasure. Beth died for it, and I knew it could fix the fracture. This fucking thing. The problem was, I didn't have a clue how to use it. The only person who did was dead. But Monarch had a way of getting to him before that ever happened.
The university time machine. They've got the core here. Can we go or what?
I need to get to the chamber above.
No problem. Got a way up right here.
Thanks for the help.
No biggie. Make it count.
Yeah. You're not coming?
No, I gotta get back down. Someone I really want to get back to. Good luck, Joyce.
Yeah.
You pussy whip bitch.
Hey, why are you going up there anyways?
Short version? I gotta go back in time and save my brother.
You're gonna go back in time, yeah, right. Whatever. You don't have to tell me, I guess.
Okay, but we can't, because you can't change the events. We've gone over this with so many people. And also, this is the fucked up time machine. We're probably going to cause the fracture by trying to do this, aren't we?
Paul took the core of the time machine from the university, hooked it up to his own machine. It was part of his sick desire for control. But that gave me one last shot at fixing things. I could go back. Maybe get to Will before Paul killed him. And if I could get the countermeasure in Will's hands, maybe I could still turn everything around.
I don't know, man. This seems like a bad idea. This is going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy thing where we cause the fracture. What do we have? What is that? We've got Chronon barrels, ammo. Let's come down this way. No, I'll hold on to my shotty.
Core was set, the machine was prepped. I had to put the corridor in place.
Alright. I want to know what this thing is over here. Oh, it's just like a fire extinguisher. I'm guessing we're going to have some kind of battle in here. Fuck off, chair. Out of my way.
Okay, this should do it.
Deploying the corridor. Phase 1 underway. Please clear all personnel from the office.
Whoa. Saw that shit coming. Oh, I missed him. Damn it. Yeah, I'm dead. Wow, that cover there is not great. Bitch. Got you that time. Dude, jump right in front of my bullets. What an idiot. Come on. Oh, did somebody get behind me? Jesus. I gotta find a place with good cover. Because it's not this place. There they are. Bitches. Time blast everybody. Tired of dealing with you people. Ow, fuck. Jesus Christ. Get out of here. Dude! Let me pop my shield! God damn it! It wouldn't come back in time. Oh god. This is a lot of enemies to deal with. I don't even know why I bother making that stutter. It lasts for such a small amount of time, it's not even worth it. Alright, I'm just gonna make everybody funnel back this way. Ooh, headshot. From downtown. Oh shit. Spray and pray with the shotgun. Time-honored tradition. Oh shit. No! No! Pop the shield! Oh fuck. Oh, that was too close. That was way too close. I hate all these people right now. Yeah, I'm fucked.
Jesus. You serious? It's fine, let's go.
Yeah. This is pretty crazy, Jack. Oh my god. I've got to take that fucking guy out. I can't shoot him. Asshole up there. Oh shit, I'm out of ammo. There are too many enemies to fight. This is ridiculous. Look at all these guys. I'm getting shot from like 8 different directions at all times. Okay, ammo refilled. Fuck that guy. Get out of here, you piece of shit. Oh my god.
Get around!
Alright, there's only 5 more guys down here, plus the sniper up there, who doesn't die to time grenades. Fucking hell. And sometimes it lets me do it from a long distance away, and sometimes it doesn't. So that's really fun. Alright, I'm gonna come over here, take this guy out. Fuck you. Fucker. Okay, I'm gonna wait till I get my time grenade back and then use that on him. It's really the best way of taking them out, as long as they let you use it. Oh shit. Juggernaut's coming. No! No! Fuck you! Don't do it. That did nothing to him! It did literally nothing! Okay, I think the sniper's done, though. So if I play my cards right, it should be doable. Yes! Alright, last guy. Here we go.
Powers are drained.
Oh shit, he drained me! That is not a good thing. If I get down to this last guy and he kills me, I'm gonna be super mad, guys. Like, super mad. Bitch! Ooh.
Oh, you're welcome, you very slow machine lady. The machine was ready. I just needed to put in the date.
That was a pretty tough encounter, guys. And I'll freely admit that some of that was just me being terrible. But also, some of it was not great, like from a design standpoint. All right. I think we're at the end of this part. Let's get this shit done.
The earliest I could go back to was the time that the core was first activated. At the university.
Not much time to rescue your brother.
I didn't have a choice.
You better be as advertised.
I'm pretty sure we're about to fuck everything up, but we don't have a choice. Let's go.